What's up, the internet? My name is Max. I'm with Adventist Youth Ontario. I am the social media coordinator for the church in Ontario. That means that I'm in charge of, well, you get the picture. I coordinate social media. What am I even explaining that for? How do you use social media to reach the youth in your church? So if you are a church leader, if you're a pastor, a youth leader, whatever kind of person you might be, and you want to think, hey, how can I use the internet to reach my youth in my church and my young adults where they're at? How can I use this? This is my top 4 tips for how to use social media to reach your young people. Number 1, go where they actually are. So if you want to use social media to reach your young people, don't make Facebook your only platform that you're using. The reason for this is, while Facebook started out for college students, it expanded the demographic that it was trying to reach, and eventually, of course, everyone is on Facebook, which includes parents and grandparents. In fact, the average age of Facebook users is now approaching like 50 or something like that. So because of this, young people are fleeing from Facebook, starting to care a lot less about it. I find this true of myself. I still use it, but not nearly as much as I used to, and part of it is because there's this invasion of privacy, you know? Young people just naturally are going to gravitate to a place where their parents and that older generation doesn't understand how to interact with them. So Facebook is not ideal for reaching people who are, in their 20s or younger, because they're not as interested in using it anymore. Instagram has kind of become the go-to place, and it's interesting because it's owned by Facebook, but that's where a lot of people are gravitating towards now. This also means that if you're creating promotional material for a church event, and you want to create that traditional long poster that's a rectangle and it's got all this information at the bottom and pictures and whatever, you can do that, that's fine, but it's not going to fit on Instagram because the Instagram frame for pictures is a square. So if you're getting a graphic designer to create promotional material for your church events, get that long poster if you want to post it up, a physical printed copy in your church, but also make sure you get a version that fits within the Instagram square, because you're going to reach a lot of people through that social media platform. Pastors, you would do really well to be on Twitter. It might not seem like it's your thing, but it's a really good way to get your words out there, and it makes it possible for people to interact with you online while you're preaching. If you're a good preacher, at some point you're going to say something that's memorable, a good line, those one-liners that really pop. If someone can quote you on that, they can tag your name in it on Twitter, you can jump on board with a popular hashtag or create your own. It takes your words, it takes your speaking, and it puts it out there for people to engage with it. And you get a collection of your own best lines. So, really, pastors, you would benefit from being on Twitter. It's a great way to interact with people in real time, short and concise, and it gets your one-liners out there. Also, don't try to overextend yourself. Go where people are, but you don't necessarily have to go everywhere. The young people in your church will probably be pleased to see you on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram. That's a good way for them to interact with you, and it's public enough that it's comfortable. But if you try to create a church Snapchat account, that might really weird people out. So don't do that. You don't have to be everywhere. Just go where people are and know your limits. Number 2, interact. What I mean by this is you can't just post something and then leave it there and expect that people are just going to pick it up naturally. There's a lot of hard work that goes into promoting things shamelessly, actually talking to people, and not just pushing your own content or your own events or your own whatever, but actually engaging with other people, looking at their stuff, liking their posts. Doing that creates interaction, because social networking online is still social. If your online interactions with people are kind of antisocial, you're not going to build a good network, you're not going to build good rapport with people. So make jokes with people, laugh, retweet their things, repost their things, whatever it might be, reblog if you're using Tumblr. But interact. Also, don't count on stuff going viral. Going viral is not something that's necessarily going to be under your control. When the community online sees something and likes it and everyone decides to start interacting with it, that's when something goes viral. But it's not actually within the creator's power to say, my content will go viral now. It takes a lot of different people buying into it. So what you really need to do is do the hard work of interaction, of networking, of talking to people, and that's how you're going to get your content out there, because your content is not going to go viral unless it's really, really special. Which brings me to number 3, create good content. You can't just create a Facebook page, invite all of your friends list to like that page, and then expect that your network is going to grow. The internet and social media is based on content, blog posts, videos, funny videos, serious videos, promotional stuff, songs, music, vlogs, pictures. These kinds of things are content, and that's what drives the internet. It's the desire to share things with people in real time, to repost something for a cause that matters to you or something that entertained you. Create content that adds value to people's lives. And whether it be music or videos or blogs, whatever it might be, if you can create stuff, you can draw people's attention to you. And once you've created stuff that actually adds value to people's online experience, then they're more likely to actually come to your site, actually like or follow the page, and stay up to date with your events, with your promotions, with whatever it is that you're trying to get out there. Number 4, focus on your strengths. This kind of goes without saying for most things, but if you're trying to use social media to reach your young people, use someone who's good at social media. That's my job right now, is to actually connect with people that way, but I'm familiar with it. If your church wants to start a social media initiative, get a young person to do it. Make that their contribution to the life of the church. And who knows, maybe they'll own it, maybe they'll actually get creative with it. But if you are part of that generation who's not so social media savvy, you can still work within the boundaries, not even boundaries, within the limits of what you're good at. For example, if you're a middle-aged pastor and you're not necessarily the most hip guy around, but you're a good writer, for example, write a blog. That's a fantastic way to connect with people. You know, evangelical pastors are super successful with blogs and online content like that because, hey, young people like reading and learning too. So if you've got insight, if you've got wisdom, if you've got stuff that you can share in that format, write a blog and people will follow it. People will repost your content. They'll tweet a link on Twitter. They'll put it on Tumblr. There's a way for you to interact with social media without necessarily being deep in it. So focus on your strengths. Again, a recap of all 4 points. 1, go where people actually are, which means don't only use Facebook. 2, make sure you are interacting with people and not just trying to do if you build it, they will come. Interact with people and network, socialize. 3, create original content that adds value to people's online experience. And 4, focus on your strengths. If you do that, I think you'll be off to a good start in using social media to enhance your church's ministry to the youth, to young adults, and you might actually have a good time as well. This is Adventist Youth Ontario. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on SoundCloud for our podcast, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us there, just look for us, and have yourself a great day. My name is Max, my hair is a problem, and you've been watching Adventist Youth Ontario. Woohoo!